Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be the 4 seasons of the narcissistic relationship. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. I'll jump right in. So, wherever you live on the planet, my hope is you have the 4 seasons. Many of us do have the 4 seasons, some of us don't. Where I'm currently located, we do have the 4 seasons, and what these are and include are the spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter. These are the 4 seasons, and I will mention how they correlate perfectly with the narcissistic abusive cycle. I'll begin now. So the spring, this is the inception when you met the narcissist. This is when things are new. You are a new shiny object. The springtime is usually meant, well, how it happens in spring is that's when life is created. That's when the leaves behind me aren't brown and brittle, and they are born anew, and they're green and plump, and they're becoming fully grown, and they're just taking off. That's the spring. Everything is new. Everything that was in the past is now been, let's say, recycled in a way, and we are now in a new time frame, the spring. When you're in the narcissistic relationship, many of you have experienced something called the love bomb, or the euphoric stage, which is what I call it. Point being, that is when you are new. That's when you're the new shiny object. That's when the narcissist sank their dirty fangs into you. They looked at you as an opportunity. They saw the beauty within you, the external beauty and the internal beauty. They looked at your possessions, your assets, your resources. They saw everything that you had, and they wanted to take this from you. Now remember, when you are in the euphoric / love bomb stage, that is when you did not have the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle. You're now getting it, and you're understanding that there are challenging individuals, let's be polite there, and that don't have your best interest at heart. They never have and they never will. And the narcissist is one of these such individuals and one of these people. Now, the narcissist knew that you were a new person, a new opportunity to take advantage of, because what they did is they probably were leaving a former relationship or having you be groomed while they were in an existing relationship, and they were stringing you along. They were making you believe that they were the best person on the planet, the yin to your yang, your soulmate, the person who completed them. How could they be single? How could they not have found you until right now? They did all of their charm. They weaponized your empathy against you, your love against you, your money against you, your everything possible. And this was in the springtime of the relationship. Now, why I'm sharing that is because at this point, you were believing that this individual perhaps loved you. We now know that the narcissist cannot love anybody, not even their own kids or their own parents or anybody. The narcissist has no love. What they have is a hollowness, a void, an emptiness that must be filled by new relationships. And when you entered that relationship in the spring, as the example I'm illustrating here is, that's when you were new. You were a new individual, a new opportunity, and you did not know what you were up against. So that is how the narcissist captured you for a period of time. When you profess the 3 words, I love you, or let's get married, or let's have kids, or let's relocate, or let's create a business, or put a roof over my head, whatever they wanted you to do, and probably many and or all of those things, your guard was down, you were in a very vulnerable position, and you were believing that this person had your best interest at heart. And that is the springtime of the relationship in a nutshell, in the narcissistic relationship. It's when you don't know what you're up against and you believe you've just found the best relationship you've ever entered. Nothing, and I mean nothing, could have been further from the truth. It was the most challenging and toxic relationship you became a part of, because this now is going to enter into, we're now going to segue into the summertime of the relationship. So the summertime, for those of you who know the 4 seasons, that's when things are in full bloom, and that's when the birds are singing and the animals are walking around, and you get great weather usually. And it's a different feeling. The energy is usually higher, and heat comes in, and things are in full bloom. In that part, equating that with the narcissistic abusive relationship, what happens there is that's when you are in it now. You're now in the narcissistic fog, or the devaluation stage. You are now in a place where you weren't prepared for. Now, in the summer, we know when it gets hot, wherever you're located, if that is one of those environments, what do? You get AC, or you go swimming, you do what you want to do, you cool down. That's what you're supposed to do, and that's what you should do. What does the narcissist want you to do? The narcissist wants you to stay hot, to stay overheated. They don't want you, another creature, they don't want you doing anything other than being trapped in that narcissistic fog. Now, what again is the narcissistic fog? I'll tell you what it is. It's a place that you didn't know existed, but this is where they placed you in the summertime of the relationship, which was the length, the body of the relationship. The devaluation stage is the longest period of the relationship. It's the part where you're trying to get back to that spring stage or the euphoric stage, and you never can quite get there because that stage wasn't real. It was an individual wearing a mask, manipulating you, tricking you and trapping you, getting you to fall in love with them when they can't fall in love with you, getting your resources to be removed from you to the betterment of them, to the detriment of yourself. And remember, I share this so frequently on the channel, your resources do include your health, your time, your empathy, your love, your money, your status, your tangible assets, everything, your emotions. The narcissist wanted these and they captured them. Now in the summertime, again, you were overheating, you were super hot, and the gas pedal was being pressed on you. In other words, the relationship was being tested. At this point, you probably experienced triangulation, or gaslighting, or stonewalling, or the silent treatment, or rage fits, or all of the above, many other things. You definitely did not get those cute little emojis that used to be texted to you during the springtime of the relationship, and all the fakeness of adoration, the fake empathy, the fake love, the fake humanness, if you will. That disappears overnight because the narcissist now knows that they have you locked down, and now here you are in the summertime of the relationship. This period of time is supposed to be one of the best periods of time in the relationship, in any relationship, it really is. You could say the beginning of a romantic relationship usually is the best period of time. I can't say it is or it isn't, but in a healthy and or stable relationship, it certainly is a fun period of time because it's newness, it's excitement. It is getting the butterflies in your stomach. It's feeling alive and knowing that another individual cares about you, and perhaps that goes somewhere and it does enter a romantic relationship. Now again, that's with a healthy or stable individual. That's not what happens with the narcissistic relationship. You may experience those things, but the narcissist doesn't. What they do is they're just getting a high, they're getting a rush on your adoration, and you're fawning all over them. Okay, so now we're back in the summertime of the relationship again, the second season. This period of time lasts a long period of time, and you're trying to get back to the spring, to the euphoric stage, to the puppies and rainbows and all the butterflies and all that, and you really can't get there because you're being decimated. Each and every day you're walking around on eggshells. Each and every day you don't know who's going to open the front door, Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. Your support system is beginning to shrink or shrivel up, where people are not looking at you the same way any longer because the smear campaign is well underway. And why would you even know what a smear campaign was? You wouldn't. Only certain people like ourselves on the channel know what the smear campaign is and or was because we experienced it, and we know that many individuals exited our life because of the smear campaign, because they listened to the false narrative of the narcissist and the lies and the half-truths and the untruths and all the manipulation. But again, all those people that weeded themselves out of your life, that's actually a good thing. It's actually a great thing, because now you found out who your real friends and your real support system is around you. And post-narcissistic relationship, it's going to be a very small circle. Having said that, the summertime is over for the seasons. Now we enter the fall, or autumn, as you people call it, across the pond, if you will. This period of time is a period of time where I am in right now, essentially, where I'm located in the Carolinas, and this is when the leaves are crisp, and this is when things look like they're dying and looks like they're not healthy, let's put it that way. But the truth is, this is just Mother Nature's cycle of existence, of life, of vibration. So everything is a cycle. Everything goes around and around and around, just like the narcissistic abusive relationship or cycle. That's why I'm using this as an analogy for the video. So what I'm sharing here in the fall of the relationship, that is when you're going to be discarded. That is when you will have not provided anything else for the narcissist. Your support system's blown up. Your supply has shriveled up. You have no more money, and you will be crumbled up like a leaf behind me and thrown away on the side of the freeway. No disrespect, it's what happens. When the narcissist does this, you can't wrap your head around it, because now when the discard happens, or again, if you exit it yourself, it's the same analogy, just different part of it. The ending of the relationship happens during the fall, and the reason why is because that is when things seem like there's not much life, and things are shriveling up, and that was you. And during the fall, again, there are dark periods of time. Notice the fall, that's when the hours of light are shorter. And I should have said this in the summertime part. In the summer, that's when the light is the longest. You have the longest amount of light in certain locations on the planet, but the fall and the winter are the shortest amount of light. That's why these are the darkest days. I'm equating this to the fall when you get discarded, because now you're isolated, you're on your own, you're all by yourself. Maybe this is you right now. And when you're here, you have to wrap your head around how you got here. How you got here was because a narcissist placed you here, or perhaps you exited the relationship yourself. Either way, you just came through one of the most challenging, trying, difficult relationships known to humankind, and that is the narcissistic relationship. So in the fall, when you were discarded, what happened there is you had to really understand that no one's going to come knocking on your door to save you. No one is going to be there to take care of you. It's going to be you. You're going to have to do things that you weren't prepared to do. In other words, your immediate family members many times will run for the hills. They won't be around you to help you out or to be a sounding board for you. And this is when you really understand that everybody, and I mean everybody, reveals themselves in time. That is why you have to understand also during the fall of the relationship or post-ending of the relationship, that's when you have to figure out who you are. You have to know your value. You have to know your worth. You have to not be a people pleaser. You have to learn how to say and mean the strongest word in the English language, which is no. Remember, when you say no to something or someone, you are saying yes to yourself. Just because somebody asks you something does not mean you have to agree to it. On the other hand, if you want to do something, you should do it of free will because you want to do it, not because another individual wants you to do it or is forcing you to do it or is holding something over your head like leverage to get you to do it, basically blackmailing you, something the narcissist would do. But during the fall, these will be very challenging times. You'll have sleepless nights and you'll have to process a lot of things. But again, after the fall comes what? I'll tell you what it comes. The fourth season, which is the winter. And what is this? I'll tell you what this is. This is when you begin to really, and I mean really, heal. This is when you introspect. This is when you journal. This is when you found the needle in a haystack and you learned about narcissism. This is when you had your first light bulb moment. Oh my gosh, that's who I was with? A toxic narcissistic individual? Wow, there's a name for this? Yes, there is. There's a community for this? Yes, there is. Other people have experienced this? Yes, they have. This is the healing, the winter. It's when you don't want to go outside. It's when things get very, very cold. It's when people turn a cold shoulder to you. It's when people don't give you the time that you want. It's when you need to heal. And most likely you will be self-isolating, whether it's in your own house, if you were isolated like I was for 2 years and 2 days, exactly, or if you're at a friend's house or a neighbor's house or someone's house or a family member's house. But this is where you are out of the environment if you can get there, and you're in a safe environment and you can exhale. You no longer are feeling the anxiety of the relationship or the pressure of the relationship or the guilt of the relationship or the why me part of the relationship. This is when you're processing childhood wounds. You are journaling, you're talking to a therapist who, unfortunately, my hope is has experienced the narcissistic abusive cycle. You are healing childhood wounds, you're meditating, you're slowing your life down, you're doing things in your time, and this is healing. Now, it is not a fun to experience. You will have a lot of work to go through, a mountain of work to process, and you will have to unwind the narcissistic relationship, and then you will go down other rabbit holes of narcissistic relationships. Perhaps your own parents were partially narcissistic, maybe your siblings or neighbors or your former lovers or college friends or whomever. But this is when you're really going to introspect, something the narcissist can't do. This is when you will be thinking to yourself, how could the narcissist just go gallivant off into the sunset and they're living their best life and I'm here stuck by myself? I'll tell you how. Because they don't care about you. They've never cared about you, and they don't care about whoever they're with right now, which is the new supply. But that's for a whole different video. The winter of the narcissistic relationship, just like the winter in the climate where I'm currently in, this is a dark, chilly time. This is when the days are the shortest. This is when you really need to maximize your efforts for yourself. This is when you need to understand who you are, that you are the priority, that you come first, second, and third, and that you are about to enter the third version of you, the most galvanized version of you possible after you have healed. Now remember, like I share, the healing path is not linear. It takes time. It takes a lot of time, but in your time you will heal. I have healed. If I've done it, you've done it. I've broken the trauma bond. If I've done it, you've done it. You can do it is what I'm trying to say. It will take a lot of work. It will take patience, resilience, commitment, fortitude, strength, courage. It will take knowledge and wisdom. Most of all, it will take you going no contact, blocking that individual or individuals, removing all flying monkeys and people associated with them, and understanding that those people in that relationship you were part of, they did not have your best interest at heart. Most of them didn't. They really didn't. Some may have, but those people weeded themselves out also. Or maybe there are a handful. If you're lucky, you'll have one or two people that stayed with you post-narcissistic relationship from that period of time. But even those people, you'd have to question what their meanings are, what the purpose is. If they're a legitimate person and they were there for you when you were discarded, then they probably are a very good person. But if they're not and they just popped up out of the woodwork, I would be very suspect as to why they popped up. Could be a flying monkey, who knows, for a different video. But what I'm sharing is the winter of the relationship. That's when you're really gonna have to self-isolate and put yourself back together. The winter will last a long time. I will tell you right now. The healing path, there is no magic pill, there's no magic wand that can tell you when you're going to heal. If anybody, and I mean anybody, ever tells you, do this or take this or read this and you will be healed from narcissistic abuse in X number of period of days, they don't know what they're talking about. They've certainly never experienced the toxic narcissistic relationship, and they cannot ever, and I mean ever, tell you when you will heal. You will heal when one morning you wake up and you're not thinking about the narcissist, you're not ruminating. Your finances have returned, your health has returned, your looks have returned, your status has returned. You're now doing things in your time. You're doing things you want to do. You've picked up your old hobbies or created new hobbies. You have new friendships and relationships you've built. You are falling in love again, or you have fallen in love again. You are doing things the way you want to do them, the way you were doing them before you met the narcissist. You're not living on another person's timeline, barely existing in the narcissistic fog. You're now thriving post-narcissistic relationship, and you are now crushing it. Now I want to share one more thing with you. There are 4 seasons here in the Carolinas. What happens after the winter? That's right, it's the spring. Now think about how I began this video. I told you there's the spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter, and it goes around. But I just mentioned the winter. After the winter comes the spring. That is when everything is born anew again. That is when the trees beam with life and abundance. That's when the animals come out of where they're hibernating and they make themselves abundantly clear. Although recently I've seen a bunch of animals, and you guys have too in my videos. But the spring is a new awakening. It's a new season for you. It's a new opportunity for you to have something to look forward to. It's an opportunity for you to reflect back. And I will ask you right now in this video, go back in time 1 year ago to where you were this exact moment in time. Think about where you were in the relationship, if you were still in it, or if which season you were a part of. Were you in a part of the spring, meaning it was the love bomb stage? Were you in a part of the summer when you were being devalued? Were you in a part of the fall when you just got discarded or it just ended? Or were you in part of the winter when you were healing and introspecting and learning and growing and becoming awakened and aware? You were somewhere in there, I can assure you. Having said that, the spring is now a place where you are reborn, because you now have wisdom. You now see the world through a different set of eyes. You now have experience on the narcissistic abusive cycle. And this was a lot of work to go through, but you've healed, and or you are well on the healing path, and you understand that not everybody has your best interest at heart, and that not everybody thinks the way you do, and that many people are envious of you, many people are jealous of you, many people want to be you, and the narcissist was one of those individuals. But now, excuse me, now we have boundaries, and now we understand our worth, and we now know that we can accomplish anything on this planet we want to if we put our mind to it. Remember, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And when you were in the narcissistic relationship, your attention and energy was going right down the drain into the narcissist, and it was filling them up, it was pumping them up, it was propping them up to the detriment of you. That is why all of your resources got decimated. That's why your health took a hit and everything else that I share on the channel. But now the spring is here. You've healed, or you're well on the healing path, and now you can look at the world totally different. You can discern within a few moments if somebody has your best interest at heart, or if they're just giving you lip service like the narcissist would do, or if someone really, really can see that you're a beautiful, bright light and they want to connect with you. Another thing is, you can tell if somebody's gone through the narcissistic abusive cycle once you've healed, because you can just look in their eyes like I'm looking at you right now, and you can see the twinkle in their eyes, the twinkle of the past, the promise of the future, and the growth of today. When I say that, I mean many people may say they've gone through the narcissistic abusive cycle, and maybe they have. Many people actually haven't, though. Many people haven't gone through it and conquered it like you have, or certainly I have. And these are the few ones, these are the people that really were tested to their core, and they achieved something that no other individual or few other individuals have achieved. And that is reaching the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, when you no longer care about the narcissist or the relationship. What you care about is yourself and improving your circumstances in your life. This is a secret language we speak. This is a superpower we possess. You cannot acquire this from reading a book. You cannot acquire it from watching videos. You can't acquire it from seeing a therapist. You have to acquire it by going through it. Before I close the video, remember, the healing path, it's like a dark tunnel that you at times cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then slowly you see a few sparkles, and then slowly you see a few more openings opening up, and then next thing you know it, you're a quarter of the way through the tunnel, then you're halfway through, and now you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then after time, You actually get out of that tunnel, out of all the darkness, out of the narcissistic fog. And what do? You're now in spring, and you've now reached a new pinnacle. You've now reached some place that most people don't reach, but you will get there if you're not there yet. And now everything starts anew. Not the narcissistic abusive cycle starts anew, not for you. That narcissistic abusive cycle will go on and on and on without you. At least that's my hope. But what starts new for you is the new season, a season of promise, a season of hope, a season of beliefs, of growth and abundance, and that is the new spring. So that is the 4 seasons. Those are the 4 seasons. I threw spring in twice to let you know it's a cycle, just like the narcissistic abusive cycle. But once you've healed, you understand that you're not going back to any kind of relationship like that, ever. This relationship that you're thinking about, it almost took you down for the count. It almost did. But guess what? It didn't. And here you are. And now you get the message. You're applying the wisdom and the tools. And you are a beautiful, bright, shining light. So guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. And I really hope you liked the video. I've been waiting to do this one for a while. I hope the sound was good and there is no Bigfoot behind me. So sure enough, there's one. Okay, God bless you all. I hope you guys have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. God bless you. I love you all, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye, guys. That's great.